Hi, thanks for stopping by my video. I'm Dr. Lanier, and I own bewell-forlife.com. And I just do these videos so I can help a few people be as healthy as possible and live the life they really would enjoy to live for as long as they can live it. Uh, the last video I did was on cardiovascular health, some common sense approaches to being healthy and living a long life without having a heart attack or blood pressure or issues having to do with cardiovascular system. Centered around inflammation. If you didn't see that one, go back and check it out because being healthy heart wise is not complicated, as is most health issues. So today, we're going to move on to something even simpler. Today, we're going to talk about sleep hygiene. Sleep hygiene. Sleep is something that you wouldn't think needs doctoring unless you're in my generation and you've heard the last 20 to 30 years of CPAP machines. CPAP machines do not help you sleep. They help you breathe, which helps you sleep. They're artificial. They're for people who quit breathing in their sleep, which is a serious issue. The reasons for falling asleep are not, the reasons for not breathing when you sleep are not simple, and they can be complicated. But I would say a large percentage of those issues boil down to lifestyle choices. And we're going to talk about those things with this video. So I'm not telling you to stop your CPAP machine, but I'm telling you that I have some advice that would help you never need a CPAP machine and maybe help you not need one in the future. Let's talk about waking up. So sleep hygiene has to do with both waking up and going to sleep, which has to do with circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm is just a rhythm of life. It's a rhythm of proper measures taken to do good things. You can have a circadian rhythm about going to bed every night, circadian rhythm about waking up every day, about the sunshine rising every day, about the moon coming up and the sunshine setting every day, about exercise the same time every day. There are circadian rhythms that help our brain settle into a method or a mode or a rhythm of life. And such a thing does exist. Same thing happens in nature. You can Google search circadian rhythm and see many, many, many examples of the rhythm of light. And sleep fits into that pattern, and not complicated, but not always practiced. These are the circadian rhythm principles of going to bed and waking up. Ready? Go to bed at the same time every night. Wake up the same time every day, and you will have better sleep. Here's how to measure the number of hours that you need to sleep before your alarm goes off. Typically, on average, give or take 5 to 15 minutes, our brains have a sleep cycle of 90 minutes where you go in and out of deep sleep, and then you come out again, and then you go back in again, and then you come out again. And sometimes we wake up at the end of one of those cycles without knowing why. The most common time is the second or third cycle, excuse me, of each night. We tend to rise out of that sleep a little lighter than the other times of the night. And that's usually sometime, depending on when you go to bed, the second or third cycle of sleep. So that's 90 minutes times 2 or 90 minutes times 3. And we find ourselves awake and then needing to go back to bed. But sleep cycle. So if you go to bed at the same time every night, and let's just say that time is 9 o'clock, then you want to get 7 or 8 hours sleep. So you add 7 or 8 hours sleep to that bedtime, and then make sure it's on the 90-minute cycle. Then you're going to come close to waking up the best. If you wake up in the middle of a 90-minute cycle, now let me move on to one other thing. If you wake up in the middle of a 90-minute cycle because the dogs are barking, because somebody's sick, because your wife needs you to wake up, or your spouse, and you have to get on up, that will not be a good wake up. Waking up in the middle of a sleep cycle is how you feel when you've been run over by a truck. So when you go to bed, count the number of 90 minutes till the time you want to wake up 7 to 8 hours later. Go ahead and set your alarm and That's the best way to do that. So napping, it brings an issue up to napping. Napping is not a bad thing. As we know, certain cultures nap every day. They stop and have lunch and take a short nap. And it happens to be not a bad practice. It happens to be a good practice. In Western country, in the Western parts, United States, now it's kind of made a loop. And now the Asian countries are starting to try to be like Western countries. We have cut out any kind of middle day rest because we're supposed to be productive and we're supposed to keep pushing and we're supposed to keep doing. And that's how we have learned to live in our culture. Not necessarily healthy, but it's been a learned work ethic. Work all day, sun comes up, sun goes down, typical farmer schedule. We have now imposed that on manufacturing and executives and medicine and healthcare and et cetera. We don't take time to rest during the day, but a nap is a good thing. Now, having said I said, when do we not want to wake up from a nap? We do not want to wake up in the middle of a nap. So what is a sleep cycle? 90 minutes. When do you not want to wake up? 45 minutes. So limit a nap. So what's the perfect limit? Not sure. It's different for different people. But typically, if we're doing the law of averages, again, these videos are not based on what you need. They're based on what people and human beings need and what's the average, what's the mean. So the mean is about a 20-minute nap. You haven't gone into deep sleep usually unless you're totally exhausted and it's a bad day. But typically a nap will take you 15, 20 minutes into a light sleep, wake up and go about your day. Go 45 minutes, give or take 10 or 15, and you're going to wake up feeling like you wish you'd never taken a nap. People can be different, but that is the rule of thumb. Before you go to sleep, practice some deep belly breathing. In through your nose, watch your belly go out, and slowly let it out as you lay in bed to relax at least 3 times. Through your belly. And each time, ideally, I'm talking so I can't do it. Let out all that air, push it out with your stomach. At least 3 times, relax. If you've had a rough day and you feel like you're anxious and you're not ready to go to sleep, do that a couple of times. And then lay there and let your mind start to meditate. Meditation is an excellent practice, not easily mastered, but easily learned. Some good resources for that I'll cover at different times. But meditation is the practice of letting yourself recover, letting yourself renew your mind, letting your mind rest and go into different wave of activity so that it gets rest. Sometimes I refer to laying there in bed as rest when I'm not sleeping. Like I'm just going to rest 15 more minutes. I'm just going to rest 15 minutes not looking at social media before I go to sleep. Deep belly breathing, another practice of sleep hygiene that goes along with everything else. Nothing stands alone in any part of life. Your day determines your night. Your night determines your day. So deep belly breathing, not the silver bullet, but it is a pillar of good sleep hygiene. Detox. If you have poison circulating like we all do, one good idea, not required, but periodically do something that causes some heartbeat, maybe break a slight sweat. We have a infrared and a near and a far infrared sauna, and an hour and a half before bed, getting in that sauna detoxes, relaxes, heats you up. Maybe 20 minutes. Don't do like a 35, 40-minute full sweat workout. 15, 20 minutes of that to break a sweat, to get out some toxins in your body. Another good idea to do an hour and a half to 2 hours before your bedtime. Melatonin is the sleep hormone. And if you take melatonin, let's combine it with other hormones, progesterone in particular. There are multiple hormones that go into your brain, into your body to help you rest. And so you don't want an excessive amount of stress hormones circulating as you're trying to go to bed. Can you control that every day? Absolutely not. You can go to bed with the worst stress that ever happened right before you went to bed. You're not going to fall asleep right away. So there are times where the adrenaline, the cortisol is going to be circulating too much when you go to bed, not the ideal time to go to bed. However, we all know about melatonin, and melatonin is produced in your body to help you sleep soundly throughout the night. Part of, again, sleeping is waking up. And so part of making melatonin is when you wake up that the sunshine helps to produce new chemicals in your brain. So when you wake up, it is a good idea to let sunshine enter your eyes and hit you in the face at some point. If you're one of those people who have to wake up in the dark, go to bed in the dark, that's impossible. They make what we call in our house, a happy light in the winter when days are short, so that you have that kind of light come into your brain. Very important for making melatonin as well as other chemicals that help your brain function at a level that doesn't have to be depressed in the days of shorter daylight. Exercise. Don't exercise within the hour of your bedtime. However, exercising in the evening is okay. Exercising in the morning is okay. The circadian rhythm of doing something so that it produces in your body and in your brain a rhythm of life is the key. When are you best able to exercise? First thing in the morning, after dinner, before dinner. Just don't exercise an hour before going to bed. It produces a certain amount of chemicals in your body, endorphins, that will tend to keep you awake or not let you fall into sleep like you should. So if we were to think of napping, sleep, wake, cycles, is critical to good health. A CPAP machine was invented because if you're not sleeping well, if you're having trouble breathing in your sleep, it can kill you. So we need to do everything we can to be healthy in every single area. Cardiovascular is an area I talked about last week. Every single pillar of health goes together to make you live longer, happier, healthier, make you feel refreshed when you wake up. Very, very important. So rejuvenating sleep is your goal. Takes practice, takes putting these things into action. But as you think about them, as you ponder, okay, so I want to sleep better. It's an important part of my life. Move on to the other parts of the life that I've made videos about. They will go together to give you a happier, healthier, longer life so that you can be well for life. Thanks for coming by. Stay tuned for the next video.